call to a meeting of the Concord School Board of Trustees. This meeting is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting the school's corporation business and is not considered a public meeting. There will be time for public participation about agenda items as indicated on the agenda. You just fill out a yellow card and get it to Mrs. Warren here before you speak. Welcome, everybody. I know we're excited to hear some little voices. So some of you are here for a reason, but you're always welcome to all of our board meetings. And with that, we'll start with the
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, that brings us to good things, which tonight is brought to us by OXPO.
Well, good evening. I'm Carrie Garber, principal at OXPO, and I've brought with me some students and staff members to talk about good things that are happening at our school. Okay, so first we'll start with some introductions.
I'm Mrs. Chase, the art teacher at OXPO. I'm Chase Berg, fourth grader. I'm Katie Peters, I'm a third grader at OXPO. I'm Jen Michelle, and I'm a second grader. I'm Rachel Jackson, and I'm in second grade. I'm Haley Belson, I'm a fourth grader at OXPO. And I'm Morgan Mella, in a third grade. All right, so we are here today to share some good things happening at OXPO. So recently, a couple months ago, I was asked by our PTO to create some artwork for our annual OXPO Czar auction, silent auction. So we present some of our artwork to you today.
Garber, sorry. Okay, go ahead.
So this is from all the fourth grade. We did an American flag to represent America. So on the red stripes, you'll see my fingerprints, and then on the blue is stars, like white stars to represent. And then right here is our first graders who all did it, and we did an array of rainbow pancakes. They did starries. All third graders got a strip of yellow paper, and then they designed it away. Then we cut it under the sun, so it would be like a nice, beautiful sunshine. All second graders created this project. Miss Chase designed the background and all the trees. The second graders did their fingerprints on the tree branches. And we all had fun getting our hands dirty with paint. This is your chance to purchase a pot. Not only can you just buy these paintings, but you can also buy class baskets that classes students have brought in and bought things to put in their class basket. And you can buy, there's over 100 things that you can buy. Here's some QR codes and links that you could get on to go to the app and look at baskets or these art pieces.
So do you want to take a picture of the QR code? Go ahead. So yeah, that's it.
Can you remind us when the OXPO Czar is?
It's already started. It ends March 10th.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, actually, they did a little bit different this year where they're having the silent auction in March. So you have until Friday to log on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us. You and your families are very welcome to stay the rest of the meeting, or I think Flavor Trace is in there.
Yeah.
So maybe you can have all again swing by there. everyone. Good job, guys. Are there any yellow cards? That brings us to the consent agenda, which this evening includes minutes from 2/21/23, accounts payable claims, payroll claims distribution summary report, human resource report, and conference requests.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Yoder, a second by Mrs. Towner. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Mr. Funston, you have a first reading of a board policy.
Yeah, everybody's gonna get home in time for dinner tonight, not very much on the agenda. My first thing here is a first reading, board policy, 5610 deals with, student discipline. The district has always had, the policy that, the board, hears all appeals to the expulsion examiner's decision. So, the way that goes is if a student is going to be, recommended for expulsion from the principal, recommendation comes to me. I then appoint an expulsion examiner, which from Indiana code has to be a licensed administrator. So in our district, that's Carrie McGuire who does that. And then the last piece of due process for a family is that if they do not like the decision of the expulsion examiner, they can appeal to the board, which doesn't happen very often, but does happen. In policy 5610, when Neola presented the suggested edits to us, Tim's not in here, so I can't make fun of them, but the attorneys decided that they didn't want to start and end a sentence with the word appeals. And so it read, the board has voted to hear all expulsions, period. Appeals from the decision of the board must be filed with, so they're missing an appeals. And so my recommendation to you is that we just amend the policy to say the board has voted to hear all expulsion appeals. Appeals from the decision of the board, the last step people have is to take that to the county circuit court. So it's first reading, you don't vote on it tonight, just presenting the change to you tonight. So.
Very good. Thank you. You also have 5.1. You'd like us to consider.
I do. So as you recall, probably, I don't know, it feels like maybe even a year ago, the board made the decision to enter into a class action lawsuit with hundreds of other school districts across the nation against Juul Labs. Juul is the manufacturer of vapes. And school districts across the country have had a lot of added expense to what happens because of trying to prevent students from vaping and prevent that at school. In particular here at Concord, one example is we've installed vape detectors, and so especially at the high school, they're able to quickly track that down and prevent. So there is a tentative settlement agreement in this class action lawsuit against Juul Labs. It is subject to final approval of the court, and you've had the opportunity to review those this confidential settlement offer and release of claims. And I would ask for a motion to approve the terms of the settlement offer and release of claims with Juul Labs.
Second.
I have a motion by Mrs. Davis, a second by Mrs. Towner. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is there any sharing from the board this evening? Superintendent?
All right, well, I have a few things. Since it was a short agenda, I wanted to, couldn't let Mr. Warner get home too early tonight. And I would like and hope to kind of continue this to provide my comments within the framework of our strategic plan and the things we're trying to get done. So, under the umbrella of ensuring all students read at high levels, I'm happy to announce, board knows is that we were accepted into the department as a literacy cadre. We received notification of that, I think, last week, which now the state will pay for 2/3 of literacy coaches to support our kids reading at high levels in grades K through 2. We're not allowed to use them for any administrative tasks. As pseudo administrators, they are solely going to be responsible for that. So are those posted?
Yes.
So those have been posted, and conversations are starting around that. We have an e-learning day coming up. Looking forward to that. Ken, what do we call that?
We have the Learn Conference.
The Learn Conference. And part of that Learn Conference is just along with reading at high levels, we'll be continuing to support our elementary teachers who are implementing CKLA as their new curriculum. Do we have folks from Amplify coming on that day?
We don't have folks from Amplify coming. We do have some folks from Apple coming.
Right.
To be able to support some of the learning engagement strategies.
Under the umbrella of academic mastery, a group of 7 administrators, Mrs. Towner, got to visit Steubenville, Ohio. Steubenville is one of the highest achieving districts in the state of Ohio with a large amount of poverty. And we got to learn what systems they have in place and how they're supporting their students. I think we all took a lot away from that. We also, Mr. Myers is working with our math curriculum adoption committee and is getting closer to a decision on math curriculum and aligning that, as we talk about consistency and alignment, aligning that across the district so that we have high expectations everywhere. Then in addition to that, we're continuing to support our teachers, and we've talked about the DNA assessment system, which basically allows us to progress monitor our students in relation to grade level standards. And so we have that happening as well. In the umbrella of healthy and engaging learning environments, we did not get the comprehensive counseling grant, but we're fortunate that our dashboard partner, Qualtrics, is working with us to prepare ways that we can get feedback from our students on their sense of belonging, engagement, and more. And so that will be happening soon. We can actually still use the same survey questions. We'll be delivering that through Qualtrics instead of the random system. So safety audits are continuing. Our police officers are going through, taking out the wedges that, if somebody props open a door, harassing people when that happens, and feel good that we're really emphasizing our practices around school safety. ALICE drills are happening regularly, and so that's good. And then we are moving ahead, Dr. Molnar and Lisa, moving ahead on our alternative education program that you approved, and we're making progress on getting that up and going for next year. And then just an example, we talk about getting a lot of kids involved in extracurriculars. I will say generally our esports team is doing well, but then, the show this weekend around the Adams family, I think is just, one other example of things we do to build those dispositions in kids that we want to see that are hard to do just in the classroom environment. And so they were challenged again on Friday with the bad weather, and did okay, did great. Student services, improving and giving our kids more access to student services. I've mentioned Cardonics before, but we are working with a company called Cardonics to make sure our high school schedule and junior high schedules are as efficient as possible, but efficient not to the detriment of students. And so making sure that we meet our students' needs in the most efficient way we can. And then under supportive teaching climate, our mentoring program is going really well. Mr. Boyer continues to meet with those folks. And then we're also looking at our evaluation instrument. There'll be more work on that to make sure that evaluation instrument for our teachers aligns to our district goals and what we want to see around reading and math, but we started those conversations. In terms of recruiting and retaining the skilled workforce, March 22nd, Spread the Word is our job fair. How many we have signed up now, Mr. Boyer?
We have 18.
18, which is a little less than last year, but hopefully share them on social media. Last year we had a lot of signups the last couple weeks leading up to that job fair, and so we're happy with that.
I've had a couple reach out that can't attend in person, but would be willing to schedule interviews virtually. So I may include a virtual option for some of those so that we can get more people.
Good, good. We're starting a walking club for our staff well-being. So if anybody's interested in joining along the staff with that, Mr. Boyer's also been working hard to make sure that people know what benefits are available to them as well. And then connecting with families, we're working on our community survey tools with Qualtrics to make sure we're getting good feedback from our families and on an ongoing basis, not a one-off survey annually. It's a continual conversation with our folks. And so that will be coming soon. Julie's working hard on that. And then hopefully everybody saw the community newsletter that went out. We hope to do another one here soon and talk about finances and some other things. So lots of good things happening. That's it.
Very good. Will you go over our upcoming board meeting schedule?
I will. So March 16th, we are over at Move Up for a tour of that facility, conversation about the programming. And then that's just a quick half an hour. Then at 9, we'll do a tour of Concord Intermediate School. You get to see things that are happening there, get a chance to meet the principal, and then back here for a regular meeting on March 20th.
Very good. Not our shortest meeting, not our longest meeting. Thank you for everybody attending, and we are adjourned at 6:17.